or at least be connected with you virtually. I see that there are a number of people who've signed up to Ashoka. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Jonathan Gill Harris. I'm Professor of English, but I'm also Dean of Academic Affairs here, so I'm responsible for helping deliver the academic programs at Ashoka. And today we're going to talk about what you can expect from the academic side of things for your 4 years at Ashoka, but we're going to place specific emphasis on the first semester because I'm sure that's what you have the most questions about. We have one viewer currently right now. Do we get to find out who they are? Do they reveal themselves? If you have signed in, I'd encourage you just to identify who you are so I have a sense of who the audience is. I know there are quite a few names who've registered who I'm familiar with already, but in any case, welcome. So let me give you a basic overview of the academic program at Ashoka. Imagine it as a sandwich. There are two parts with a filling in the middle. The first part we can call the foundation part of the sandwich. Those are the foundation courses. The top part are the major courses. And in the middle, there's something called the Ashoka Quest. Now, it's not quite as clear-cut as a sandwich because some of the major courses you'll be able to take in the first part of your major, and some of the foundation courses you'll be able to reserve for a little bit later, as late as your third year. But generally, the program is divided into the courses that are going to provide you with a platform for what you'll do later in your major specialization. Maybe we can start off with the presentation that I prepared here. And here it is coming up. My image is about to disappear, and you will see, thanks to the miracle of screen share, the seminar on Ashoka academics. Shall I click from page to page here? So this is about what courses will you be taking at Ashoka. So the first thing to know, so we can't just go from slide to slide here. Okay, the first thing to know, as I've said, is that your first 2 years at Ashoka will be devoted primarily to establishing breadth. You'll be taking foundation courses across a variety of disciplines, and I'll explain what those courses are soon. I'm sure many of you know already what those courses are. Second, in your last 2 years, you'll be establishing depth through your major courses. So imagine, forget the sandwich model. What we have here is perhaps something more like a monument on a plinth. To build a monument, you need a broad base. The monument itself can be quite sort of narrow, but it has a certain amount of depth and height to it. The major specialization is the monument on the top, the plinth, the foundation, the courses that you'll be taking in your first few years. And then what's important to know is that all our courses meet for 4 hours a week. 3 of those hours are lectures with a professor, and there's 1 hour of what we're calling tutorial, might also be described as a discussion section, in which you'll be working with a teaching assistant. In your 4th semester, you will be doing, as I said before, what's called the Ashoka Quest. This is an internship in which you go out to someplace off campus. It could be a village, it could be some urban location, a bustee even, it could be a corporate venue. But you'll be working with a group for the duration of the semester in mentored circumstances on a real-life problem, and you'll be using the knowledge that you've gleaned from your foundation courses in order to try and find some kind of solution to the problem. It's clear that if you're not living on campus, you'll be living away, but we'll do our best to provide you with a protected environment. As I said, there will be mentorship for this project that will ensure that you're not a lone agent. And once you've finished the internship, it's only then that you have to declare your major at Ashoka. You may be convinced that you know already what specialization you'd like to pursue, but you're under no obligation to stick with that. It may turn out that you do stick with that, but we would like you to spend 2 years just deferring that moment of decisiveness. We'd like you to experiment a bit, take risks, take courses and subjects you've never taken before, expose yourself to new possibilities. It's so often the case that what people were absolutely convinced they wanted to do at the age of 18, by the time they're 20, even by the time they're 18 and a half, they've turned around and realized that, no, there's something else that interests them. That was certainly true for me. When I was 18, I was convinced that I was going to be a medical doctor. I came from a good Jewish family in New Zealand where every good son became a doctor. I took a couple of intermediate courses at university, and I discovered, much to my surprise, that my passion was more for English and philosophy, and I wouldn't be here speaking with you today if I hadn't had that opportunity to expose myself to a new subject like philosophy. So it's important that you open yourself up to the possibility of surprises and new passions that you can't even predict right now. Something else to know is that every semester will also be offering in the evenings what we're calling co-curricular courses. And these are courses that broadly cover the arts: theatre, music, dance, visual arts. They're courses that will involve a practical component. You will be actually doing theatre, art, music, dance, but you'll also be thinking about them academically, about their history, about theoretical elements of these arts. These courses meet only once a week for 2 hours of lecture and practice, and so they are worth only half the number of credits that any other course is worth. Now, what are the foundation courses? I won't go over these in too much detail, but here is a basic map, a colorful map too, and there is a logic to the color here. At the top, in red, because it's important and it's meant to catch your attention, is the first foundation course, indeed the gateway course that every student will take in their first semester. So if you're coming to Ashoka, in your first semester you will take Introduction to Critical Thinking. This is basically an introduction to how to be a student. In a way, it's a writing course. Not necessarily a creative writing course, but an introduction to academic university-level writing. You'll be doing a lot of intensive writing, sometimes of essays and papers, sometimes of speeches, sometimes just of short responses to things that you're reading. But the course is basically our attempt to immerse you in the ethos of Ashoka academics. We believe that you can't think clearly unless you can write well. And you can't write well unless you are reading a lot. And you can't read a lot unless you can think clearly. As you can see, this is something of a circular process. But we are going to demand that you do a lot of reading of texts across a variety of disciplines, a lot of thinking about these texts, and a lot of writing about these texts. The basic objective of the course and of critical thinking in general is to be able to organize your thoughts clearly, elegantly, persuasively, and to be able to enter into conversation not only with your professor and your fellow students, but with what you read. Indeed, what we want people to come away with is the conviction that any act of reading is also an act of conversation, that you're not simply a passive consumer of what you read. You are an active interlocutor. And by that, I mean, as soon as you read a text, you are asking questions of it. You are entering into dialogue with it. It is changing you, but you're also changing its meanings by the simple act of being there and reading it. So that's at the heart the academic ethos of Ashoka. In your second and third semesters, you will continue to hone the skills that you've picked up in this Introduction to Critical Thinking course in what we're calling critical thinking seminars. But these seminars will be more discipline specific, and here you'll be introduced to professors within the various disciplines at Ashoka. You could choose, and here you have choice, you could choose to take a critical thinking seminar in economics in your second semester and in English in your third semester. If you're a mathematics major, you may want to take a critical thinking seminar in maths in your first semester and in economics in your second semester, or you might want to do something completely different and new. You could take a critical thinking seminar in philosophy or psychology. You have choice about which discipline you take your critical thinking seminar in, but the important thing is that you have to do one. And in these seminars, you'll be doing a lot of intensive writing. The other courses in blue are the 9 foundation courses across a variety of disciplines that everyone has to take by the time they finish their third year. I'll go through these very quickly. Great Books is not, as the title might suggest, a literature course, but instead a course that is about books that have influenced us globally, across a variety of disciplines, across a variety of cultures, and from a variety of times. In this course, you might study the Mahabharata, Machiavelli's The Prince, Darwin's Origin of the Species. You have a course here from Indian literary tradition, a text from Indian literary tradition, a text from political philosophy, and a text from biology. The point is to expose you to some of the most influential texts that have been written that have changed the way in which people think about the world now. The course Literature in the World is a literary course, but it's a literary course with a difference. It's about how literature represents the world, but also how the world in turn has read and reimagined literature. In a course like this, we might think about how Shakespeare, in a play such as The Tempest, imagines the entire world. But then we might go on to look at how different cultures at different times have reimagined Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. The point is to get you thinking about literature not as simply something with a set number of meanings, but as something malleable and changeable that is subject to reinterpretation in different venues. Social and political formations is an introduction to institutions in our society, ranging from the government to the family. And it is a course that will expose you to the basics of what we call the social sciences. Principles of Science is a science course, but again, like all our foundation courses, it's a course with a difference. It's not a straightforward science course. You're not going to be putting on white lab coats and blowing things up or turning on Bunsen burners. Instead, you're going to be thinking about what it means to produce scientific knowledge as opposed to, say, humanistic knowledge or knowledge in the social sciences. It's very important for us in the 21st century to be aware that there are different types of knowledges that are built on very different procedures, very different methods. What does it mean to have a hypothesis? What does it mean to have a theorem? What does it mean to test a hypothesis? What exactly is a laboratory? It's not just a physical space. It's a way of thinking and producing knowledge. Foundations of Economics is, again, everyone needs to take, not just economics majors. It exposes us to basic assumptions, methods of making sense of the world in terms of value, money, and wealth. Introduction to Mathematical Thinking is not what some math phobes might fear. It's not a course about calculation and algebra and algorithms. It's instead a course about the way in which we can think using numbers, shapes, forms. It's a course that the professor who devised it, Professor Maya Sarin, calls a course in the beauty of mathematical thinking. And it's a course that you don't need to be a mathematics major to excel in. Trends in History is a course that exposes students to both trends in history, but also trends in history as a discipline. How have historians at different points in time thought about history very differently? Mind and Behavior is a composite of philosophy and psychology. It gets you thinking about issues of the self, of the psyche, of behavior, of ethics. At the very bottom is Indian Civilizations, and its place at the bottom doesn't mean it's the last course you should take. It doesn't mean that it's the least important. To the contrary, it's the course that anchors everything. Ashoka is a university that is very aware and very committed to its location in India. We think it's something of a scandal that the vast majority of Indian students graduate with absolutely no knowledge of the history of their literary, cultural, spiritual traditions. And here we emphasize the plural. There's no one singular Indian civilization. They're instead a panoply of civilizations and cultural traditions, ranging from Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Islam, and many others. So these are the courses that you will be taking overwhelmingly in your first 2 semesters. Now, I've tried to break down for you here what you can expect to see, or what you can expect to be taking in your first semester. We will expect you to take, as I've said, the Introduction to Critical Thinking course. That'll be compulsory, along with 3 other foundation courses, and you'll be able to choose which ones you might want to take if you're thinking of being an economics major. Foundations in economics in your first semester. You might want to pair it with Introduction to Mathematical Thinking, but we'd also encourage you to take courses outside your field. You will have to take these courses at some point. The question is, when do you want to expose yourselves to them? And so I would encourage you in your first semester to take courses that are going to push the envelope for you, expose you to new ways of thinking, new ways of imagining yourself. You will also have the option of taking 1 or 2 co-curricular courses in theatre, music, dance, or painting. In the second semester, you will be taking that critical thinking seminar that is a follow-on from the Introduction to Critical Thinking, and then you'll have the choice of taking 3 other courses, which can be either 3 foundation courses, again, as in the first semester, or just 2 foundation courses, and you can take a major course at this point. So see, already in the second semester, you can be concentrating on beginning your major specializations. And again, you can take a co-curricular course in the evening. Third semester, you'll take the second critical thinking seminar. Again, that's compulsory. And again, 3 courses of your choice, which can be 3 foundation courses or 2 foundation courses and a major course. Again, there's the option of taking a co-curricular course. The fourth semester is when you take the Ashoka Quest, the internship in the social or corporate sector. That's when you'll be off campus. And that is the meat, or if you're Shakahari, the vegetable in the sandwich between the foundation courses and the major courses. The 5th to 8th semesters, that's the time when you'll be focusing on your major courses. And you'll also be finishing off whatever foundation courses you still need to take. During this time, you can also take 4 elective courses in any subject you want. You can use those elective courses to either take additional courses in your major or to take courses towards a double major or an interdisciplinary major, or to take courses towards a minor. You need 12 courses for a major, you need just 6 for a minor. And as always, you have the option of taking co-curricular courses in the evening. So that's the end of the presentation. Let's return to my not so beautiful face. And this is the point at which I'd like to start fielding questions from you, and I'm sure you have many. So let's see what's coming up here. We've now got 17 viewers, I see. So if you'd like to identify yourselves, please do, so I can give you a shout out. I saw there were a number of people who'd registered who I've talked with at various points, so it'll be good to see your names again and to meet some new people. Oh, we're up to 18. Can we see who they are? Okay. So if you have questions, please fire away. We're still waiting for questions to appear. I can tell you questions that I often get. One of the questions is about can you take more than simply the 4 courses in one semester? The answer is no and yes. No in your first semester. 4 courses might not seem a lot if you're used to taking 5 classes for your board exams. But in fact, you'll find at the university level that the demands of your course load are going to be appreciably higher than they were at the school level. It's going to be quite an adjustment, in other words, getting used to the sheer volume of reading that we're going to expect of you. Every course will be a reading-intensive course. Even the co-curricular courses will involve quite a bit of reading. So just getting used to that workload means that we don't want you to overburden yourself in the first semester. So we'll demand that you take a maximum of 4 courses, foundation courses. You can take a co-curricular course on top of that. Come your second and third semesters, there will be the option of taking an additional 5th foundation course or a major course as well. But you will be able to do that only in consultation with your academic advisor. I should add that there's going to be a heck of a lot of close mentoring at Ashoka University. The experience many people have at other universities of being one of a cohort of 1,000 and remaining anonymous in the classroom and therefore completely unknown to their professors for the duration of their time at college, that is going to be impossible at Ashoka. You're going to be well known to your professor is going to be known to you. In the words of the immortal philosopher Sting, every breath you take, every step you make, we will be watching you, but not in a scary way. We'll just know who you are, we'll be talking with you often. And a lot of the talking will involve advice outside of class in our office hours about your development in courses, but also your trajectory throughout the Ashoka program. We'll be helping you decide which courses you should take. Remember, we give you many more options. This is why we're called a liberal learning institution. Liberal means you have choice. But we want to make sure that your choices are informed ones, that they're choices that will bring out the best of you, so we'll expect you to consult with us. So I'm still awaiting the first question. Anyone want to break the ice? Last time I did this, I managed to answer only a fraction of the tidal wave of questions that came my way, and for some reason they're not coming now. Are we not looking at the right page, perhaps? We are? Last time there were 2 sources of questions. Or have I answered all your questions in the course of this presentation? Some other questions that have come my way. People have asked about the possibility of taking language courses. So right now we are not offering formal language courses in, say, modern languages from Europe or Asia, or older languages like Sanskrit. We're interested, however, in working closely with students when they come to campus to ascertain what their interests are. And if there is a critical mass of students who want to, say, take French or Spanish, then there are avenues open to us through Delhi to find language instructors who can come to campus and give you extra courses outside of the official schedule that will count towards credit. We may offer them simply at a co-curricular level for half the number of credits that normal courses are worth. But we are not ruling out at this point offering courses in language. A question has come from Sankalp. Oh, Sankalp, good to see you. I've seen you on the Facebook page, so it's good to see you, or at least see your name here. Sankalp's question is, will we be purchasing books on campus? Will Ashoka provide any? So when you come, You'll have a week-long orientation that will be starting on August 24th. We'll be expecting you to move in on the 22nd, the 23rd of August. Over the course of the orientation, we will have a book fair in which all the books you will need to buy for your courses will be available in this great big room on the fourth floor of the admin building. You will buy your books then, okay? We will also have a library that will have books that have been set for courses available, but the expectation is that you will be purchasing copies of all the books that are set for courses. TK. Second question. The 4 elective courses could also be taken from 4 different disciplines. It's not necessarily meant to contribute towards a specific minor, right? This is a question from Aditya Shetty. Thank you, Aditya, and welcome. Yes, these elective courses are called electives because you can elect to do whatever you want with them. Again, you'll want to consult with your academic advisor, but why not? You could take a course in philosophy, you could take a course in psychology, you could take a course in computer science, you could take a course in English literature. The elective courses are, in fact, a golden opportunity for you to try out subjects that you've had no exposure to, that you suspect from talking with people who've taken courses in the field you might be interested in, or simply subjects that you think, goodness, I'll never get a chance to take these courses ever again. How can I graduate from university not at least having tried them out? Remember, university is a space in which to try things out, take risks. This is one way in which Ashoka is very, very different from the standard Indian university. Something I've never quite understood, the idea that at 18 we need to strap ourselves into a specialization as if it was a speeding truck about to go off a cliff and say, I will trust wherever the truck goes off the cliff. I think it's very important that university be a time in which we experiment, in which we take risks, in which we expose ourselves to new possibilities. So yes, these electives are very important courses. They aren't freebies to fritter away. You should think hard about what you want to take so you can be most satisfied with who you've become by the time you've graduated from Ashoka. Any more questions? I hope that's answered your question, Aditya. We're still waiting. There have been questions in the past about integrating sports with academics, and this is something that Dr. Rajat Chauhan will be talking about in the next part of the webinar, immediately following mine. But let me just say very briefly that sports is not simply a set of hobbies at Ashoka, nor is it meant to be something that people do with grim seriousness. We want people to do sports with passion and conviction, but sports is integrated into the academic side of things. The Ashoka logo is important. You may remember that it is a set of concentric circles. By that we mean to communicate the very important assumption that everything under the sun is related. That doing sports is not necessarily unrelated from what you're studying in the classroom. That it's important to integrate, say, the study of biology with an understanding of how you're using your body when you play tennis. That it's important to think about the sociology or the economics or even the literary dimensions of physical pastimes. So a question that has come up here from Saili Palikar. Saili, it's, I'm sorry, the question I'm going to answer first comes from Kavita Sunil. How does the university plan on sending the students to the Ashoka Quest? Are we allowed to request internships at particular companies, NGOs, or does the university have a predetermined list of places we're sent to? So the answer to this question is a combination. We are going to be establishing partnerships with a variety of organizations in the social sector, in the private sector, in the government sector. We need to be very careful about who we place people with to make sure that they're responsible organizations that will give you a satisfying and a safe experience. However, we don't simply want to impose willy-nilly these organizations on you, and in the 3 semesters before the Ashoka Quest, we will certainly be conferring with you about what you would like to do. If you want to suggest organizations, we will certainly take suggestions. That doesn't mean that those organizations will definitely figure in the menu of options available to you. But this is very much part of our culture. It's a culture of conversation, of consultation, where the students are a vital, vital part of creating the culture. We really want you to take the lead in creating clubs. I hope we've communicated that sufficiently in our communications with you. But for the Ashoka Quest, we do want you to have a certain amount of input. We, again, don't want to strap you into a truck that is speeding off a cliff, a truck that you don't want to be strapped into. So, from Sayali, the question is, how would the theatre thing work at Ashoka? I love the expression, the theatre thing. I am very much a thing of theatre myself, so I'm invested in the answer to this question. What would drama activities entail exactly in terms of credits or relevance to subject? So there are a number of levels at which theatre is going to be important. First of all, at the extracurricular club level. If students want to form a drama society, then we will provide the infrastructure and the support for you to do that. The drama society will then be able to do whatever it wants in terms of programming. It might decide to put on a big production each semester. It might decide to do small productions, several productions over the course of a semester. But there is space available for you to rehearse and perform in a production. At the co-curricular level, there will be a course in theatre that we're offering in the first semester that will be a combination of practical and academic. And we imagine that one of the outcomes of this course will be an official production at the end of the semester that will be part of a larger, we might call it a festival of the arts, where all the co-curricular courses will perform something. The dance co-curricular course, which will be in Bharatnatyam, will probably do a Bharatnatyam performance. The music course, which will be specializing in Hindustani classical music, will do something. The theatre course will do something, and there will be an art exhibition of paintings from the painting course. Now, the third level is at the curricular level itself. In courses like Literature in the World, you will be reading a lot of plays, and there will be the opportunity for us to mount these plays, perhaps not in full productions, but certainly in staged readings. I'll be teaching in the Literature in the World course. I am a professor of English. I'll be teaching several plays, 2 plays by Shakespeare, The Tempest and Othello, and an adaptation of The Tempest by the Martinique playwright Aimé Césaire called Une Tempête. You'll be, don't worry, reading it in English translation. It's called A Tempest. And any of those plays we could do staged readings of. In fact, I'm planning a staged reading of the 2 Shakespeare plays. So I hope that answers your question, Sayali. Thank you very much. A question from Samrid, another familiar name. Good to see your name again, Samrid. Are you allowed to do dual majors in computer science and economics? Absolutely. And the rest of the question is, if I do, I will be getting 2 separate degrees for both the majors, right? Actually, not quite. You will be getting a bachelor's degree at the end, but your bachelor's degree will list you as having majored in both computer science and economics. What we're offering is a bachelor's of science degree in computer science and a bachelor's of arts degree in economics. What you will have is a consolidated bachelor's of arts and bachelor's of science degree. It'll be 1 degree even though it's listed as 2 courses. Okay, I know that sounds a bit confusing, but you won't be getting 2 separate BA degrees. Next question. Uh, there was another question I thought from Samrid. Okay, next question is from Priya Darsini. So in the event of Delhi University cancelling the FYUP, how is Ashoka perceiving it? Is Ashoka still sticking to the 4-year program, or is it falling against the UGC norms? Priya, thank you for asking this. This is the question on the tip of so many people's tongues, including our own. So, as you know, the UGC has just ruled that Delhi University's 4-year undergraduate program is in violation of the national policy of 10 plus 2 plus 3, meaning 12 years of school education and 3 years of undergraduate education. Now, the UGC is the funding body that supports central state universities like Delhi University. The UGC is only an approval and advisorial body when it comes to universities, private universities that have been approved by state governments. Ashoka University is a private university that has been constituted by the state government of Haryana. So our 4-year program is already totally approved by the Haryana state government. The question is how we stand vis-a-vis the UGC recommendation. Of course, the UGC strongly recommends 3-year programs, and DU is being forced to follow that. We're currently in consultation with the UGC. We expect that we're not going to be affected at all. We are acting on the assumption that we are going to continue to offer our 4-year program. I hope that answers your question. So, this is a question from Jishnu Ghosh. Jishnu, I think I've seen your name somewhere. I can't remember whether it's on the Facebook page or in the admissions interviews list. Will there be any photography courses? You'll be pleased to know that the professor who will be teaching our painting course, Professor Ananaya Chobe, is in fact also a brilliant photographer. And we're imagining that there'll be a photography component of his course, that it won't be just in painting, it'll be in visual culture in general. But there will always be the option of doing an independent study with Professor Chobe in photography. The next question, again from Samrid. What do you see a typical Ashoka graduate doing at the end of 4 years, i.e. after he, or Samrid, she, graduates? So, I don't think there's a single answer to this question. Perhaps the general umbrella answer would be, we expect our students, our graduates, to be leaders. And leaders not in the sense of netas wearing long white kurtas and Nehru jackets, but leaders in whatever field they move into. They're going to be leaders by sheer strength of the quality of their ideas, their ability to communicate. They're going to naturally attract people to them. So they're going to be leaders in the private sector, in the social sector. They're going to go on to be leaders also in the academic world. I think we're going to see a lot of people going on to do entrepreneurial work. There's a strong entrepreneurial flavor to a lot of what Ashoka does. And I mean entrepreneurial, not perhaps in the strict business sense, but more in the sense of being innovative and creative. We're looking for people who are ideas people, who are capable of thinking outside the box, who want to ask questions, and who have the initiative to follow up on their passions. So, Samrid, that might be a rather vague pie-in-the-sky answer to your question, but I think the sky is the limit for our students. A question from Kavita. Will the university be establishing a student governing body or student council? Yes, and we are going to be devolving a lot of responsibility to students as we set up the student council. We don't know quite yet what it's going to be called. We'd like the student input into that. We're going to be running elections in the first 2 months, and once the student governing body is constituted, then it will write a constitution that will include officers and democratic procedures. But yes, and Kavita, if you want to take a role in helping set that up, I'd welcome you. I'd invite you to take that role. The next question comes from Ujval Yadav. Ujjwal has doubts regarding the interdisciplinary majors, as they carry 16 credits compared to the usual 12. Is it possible to have a similar setup of taking minors? Ujjwal, that's a good question. If you do the maths, you'll see that if you're taking 16 courses, that means 16 more credits that's required of you, and it will be hard to take a minor. However, because there's the option of taking 5 courses per semester rather than 4 once you reach your second semester, that means you can, in the allotted time of 4 years, end up doing those extra 16 credits quite easily. In 4 semesters, and it will also leave you time to take extra courses beyond what's required for your interdisciplinary major. You'll be able to take elective courses. You'll be able, like anyone else, to experiment. The next question comes from Kavita. Has the university been granted autonomy status? As I was talking about before, yes, we have been constituted by an act of the Haryana state government. We are an autonomous and recognized university. I'd stress the autonomy. We have much more autonomy than Delhi University or any other central or state university, inasmuch as we set our own curriculum. Faculty get to choose what they want to teach, and they get to set the exams they want to set. This means that you're not stuck in some curriculum that has been decided by someone completely independent of the university. The next question comes from Priya. Is Ashoka? I'm not sure I can answer that because I'm not sure I know what the CGPA 10 pattern is. I'm sorry, Priya. That's something that maybe you can follow up with a little information about that. A question from Lakshmi, from Sankalp. How are you utilizing technology for learning and teaching, including learning management systems, physical infrastructure? The first thing to know is all our classrooms are Wi-Fi enabled. The entire campus is Wi-Fi enabled. You will be able to use your devices, your laptops, your iPhones to connect to our databases, and our databases include state-of-the-art electronic databases available through the library for research. We will have a learning management system that will be superior to any available in the country right now. Its capacity will be greater. The internet speed, as a result, will be greater. The Infonet will be quicker and more substantial. We're, in other words, going to be a state-of-the-art institution when it comes to technological infrastructure. We'll have computer labs. We will have all sorts of technological supplements available for any number of courses. The next question comes from Samrid. What type of companies? Yes, we need to wrap up very soon, but I'll be answering this last question from Samrid. What types of companies, institutions, groups will we be working at in the Ashoka Quest? Could you name a few? Yes, many of them will be NGOs, including NGOs that we've been working with already. The Wildlife Foundation will be working with organizations that are involved in gender education, literacy. There will be corporates, including some of the companies that our founders are involved with, such as 9.9, the communication company, Infosys, etc. That just gives you a sense of the companies we'll be working with. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm sorry this is a truncated encounter, but I'd encourage you to email me if you have questions. I'm Jonathan Gill Harris. My email address is jgharris, that's Harris, at ashoka.edu.in. You can find my email address also through the website. बहुत शुक्रिया, मैं बहुत खुशी कि मैं आपसे बोले हैं. Thank you, and sorry for the bad Hindi. Next comes Dr. Chauhan.
Right. I'm Rajat. Is it? Yes, good idea. Hi, I'm Rajat, and I'll just get on with the presentation right away, and you can keep listening to me there. All right. So some students had asked me if we'll be doing the same presentation as before. I think we'll just stick to the same one. I think it's a great idea in private. If you want to talk to me, I can take you through the presentation that I wanted to do. So this is about sports and exercise at Ashoka. Okay, now the whole idea here is I would really, really like if at 5 in the morning, this is the kind of crowd that you could have. So this is a picture from Formula One track at GP at Greater Noida. Okay, now what is the objective of having sports and exercise medicine at Ashoka University? Now, as you guys were asking earlier, it is to inculcate, fitness in all of you, physical activity, exercise, sports, and to introduce all of you to sports on the campus of all kinds. Okay, so it could be from very basic to taking it to the next level, to representing the country. If you see the talent and you have the passion to do that, the main thing really is I want everyone really to move the backsides. So that's very, very important because it's great talking about the mental changes that will happen, but if your body is not keeping up with it, it's not that that quality that you have will not last very long of quality of life. And there's a difference between sports and fitness. So the whole idea is if someone's a Tendulkar or any other sports person, they could be very, very talented, but they have to be fit to have that longer life. Now, similar thing applies even if you're not a sports, if you're not an elite sports person. So even if you are an academician or even if you're a corporate employee, you have to be very, very fit to do the most that your life deserves. So it's to optimize everything. And also, what we'll be doing is experiential learning by exposing you to various situations and conditions, playing various sports, trekking. So all of that will be there as well. Okay, now I like to call it Ashoka's gift. Now, this is a term that I'd actually coined some time back. So it's called Get India Fit. So the gift comes from there. I'm not sure if you guys were aware, but two-thirds die today in India because of lifestyle diseases. Lifestyle diseases being diabetes, heart diseases, even cancer. So it's not as much tuberculosis and cholera, the infectious disease that are causing death today. Okay, so it's the way you lead life, that being the bigger killer today. Now, India also happens to have the largest unfit workforce. You would have heard a lot about, how India will take care of the rest of the world because we have such a large working force and all. It's it's doctors like me who end up seeing these young people, 25, 30, who've been sitting in cubicles working, in a rat race kind of a form, and soon enough they break down completely. So that's happening far sooner, which used to happen earlier at 60 and 65. Now happens in 20, 25, 30s. A lot of back pain, neck pain, chronic issues that happen. So idea is how do we take care of it? Now, Ashoka students would have touched lives of over 10 lakh people, in my opinion, over 10 years. So I would really, as Gil was suggesting earlier, you guys will be leaders, thought leaders in the society. Uh, you might not become prime minister, you might not, some of you would, and some of you won't become CEOs of companies. It doesn't matter unless, as long as you actually impact people's lives, that's good stuff. Okay, now what's important to note here is death is one thing that's going to happen to everyone, right? But the point is quality of life. So as much as I say how many people die of whatever, it's what bothers me is if it's death happening too soon to people, people not having good quality of life. That is that is what bothers me. Okay, so again another term coined by me, young India athlete. Now, in the corporate world, they talk about the corporate athlete. So they're basically talking about great, you're above your shoulders. It's great that you're very smart and the rest of stuff that is happening there. But again, your brain can only do as much as your physical body, the rest of it will allow. So this is what we're trying to cater to this right here. And idea is to make you excel in spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, to get you to the next level in all of these things. So that's the whole idea when we talk about sports and exercise here. Now, very, very important for all of you guys to understand, this is not going to be a one-way thing. It has to be, your inputs are very, very important. Your involvement is very, very important. Now, right here, I would like to interrupt and say, like, it's very important. We've created this YouTube channel. You need to be interacting on it a lot more. What I mean by that is you still have a month, right? So if you can share a profile, like what does exercise mean to you? What does physical activity mean to you? Make it a minute long. And as I've said on Facebook as well, it could be a selfie video. It'll be great if you can share that with me, and my email will be there later. So it has to be, this whole movement has to be driven by you guys. I'm just there, who's going to help you, enabler really, and my team. But it's you guys who will drive it more. Now, as again Gil was mentioning earlier, this is not only an extracurricular activity, it's part of life, it's part of the rest of the activities that will be happening on the campus. Now, what's also very important to Ashoka is that the faculty will be leading by example, and that's Gil here, running Delhi Half Marathon last year. So he really stands out, doesn't he? So would be expected that all the staff members, to be moving a little bit more than they've ever done before, and set examples from right in the front. And obviously, then you'll be doing a lot more. Now, it's fascinating. Unlike US, Indian universities do not have culture of creating any champions. So what I mean by that is, if you look at NBA, if you look at other sports that are there, tennis, golf, a lot of those top players are coming from the university culture that is there in sports. Now, idea is, can we, and it'll take us time, it might not happen very first year, can we over time start creating some national champions? So, students of ours, while they're actually studying at Ashoka, representing the country, how cool would that be? That hasn't happened enough even in the sports universities that are there in India. So that is the plan, that is the dream. Okay. Okay, so whole idea here is, as much as we keep talking about creating those champions, what happens is, if your base, again, the example that Gil was giving about the foundation and the building, if you don't have enough fit people, and we only focus on the 10 good runners or 10 good wrestlers or boxers or tennis players in the country, you won't be surprised that it actually takes a lot more manpower, it takes a lot more money to work with the 10, because you're focusing only on the 10, because you have to really look where they are, and you need to make them excel and stuff like that. But if the grassroots stronger, what happens is, imagine that's all I'm doing. I'm making all of you fitter. So in 3 years time or 4 years time, we have 3,000 to 4,000 students, and imagine all of them are far, far, far fitter and stronger and very sporty. Automatically we'll have 100 guys who will end up representing at least the state, if not the country. And then it's easier for, out of that, 1% or 10% if they go to the next level. So grassroots becomes very, very important. So having a good foundation for a lot more people. Then it's having an opportunity to lead the way in universities producing the world champs, as I said earlier. Again, the few sports that we are trying to focus initially, and obviously this can change and will change based on what interest you guys show. Swimming, football, running, tennis are the 4 or 5 sports that I'm really thinking about in my head, that we'll focus initially. Football, for example, will be doing a little quicker game, futsal, or 7-a-side game. Whole idea is get people moving, and it's nothing to do with the World Cup really. That was the plan anyways from the very beginning. Cricket to a lesser extent. Volleyball will be there as well. So again, it depends on your interest, and that's why I said 4 to 5, and we can just carry on from there. Right then, so talking about the team that is there on board right now. So that's me. My name is Rajat. Now I run. Ultra running means, or ultra marathons mean more than 42 kilometers. Now that's what I do. Uh, Degree wise, so I like to, when people ask me, I'm a runner first before anything else. And then my degrees really are MBBS, MSc Sports and Exercise Medicine. That's from Nottingham. MLCOM, so that's something in musculoskeletal medicine, that's from London. And then the way I've been described, or I kind of saying about myself as well, is that I'm a militant advocate of increased physical activity and exercise for all. I end up writing on a monthly basis, if not more, for Mint newspaper and Forbes. I blog for them. Now, I'll just take you back in this one, like what all things I do in this. Now, what's been fascinating is a lot of questions that people are having, and they're doing recce of the campus and saying, "Oh, the buildings aren't done," and things like that. Uh, I am not the VC. I'm not the dean. I'm only the director for sports and exercise medicine. Uh, but what is important for me to clarify is it's not the buildings, it's the people who make institutions. Okay, so very very important for you to kind of understand that you are the guys along with the faculty, but you more importantly will form the nucleus of the whole campus and the university. So that's very very important. Now I don't just say it as you know just to make a dialogue here, and it actually means to me, and I've gone through it myself. So I was the founding batch of a medical college. This college was in Nepal. Okay, so I'll come to that right away. I'll save it for then. Okay, now this is talking about. So I'll come to this point in a bit while I'm talking about Nepal. Actually, it comes later. Now I do something called Back to Fitness. Back to Fitness is a chain. No, not chain. Now I've actually come down to just having one state-of-the-art sports and exercise medicine facility. The name Back to Fitness refers to two things. One is getting your back fitter again. So if you have back pain, we are the guys who, really, really, when it comes to conservatively approaching it and taking care of it, we're very, very good at it. But it also is about you've lost your fitness and getting you back to fitness again. So it's a playing with words here. Now, this is my son when he was 10 months old, and use how high-tech technology he's using to sit upright. He's using a chatai. The same day, the very same day, this day my sister was getting engaged, and all these are my cousins. Now look how fit they look. They're like a very regular Indian, early 30s IT guys. Very, very pregnant, all of them, aren't they? So the point is, how do we get them fitter? So, okay, again, look at any of them, none of them are smiling here. So we've got a problem with that. They're not smiling because they're in pain, they have chronic diseases by the age of 30, 35 already. Again, same day, here are my uncles, big mustaches showing, their Rajputs, and we're very proud of everything in life, but they can't smile again, okay? And their niece is getting engaged the same day. So pretty unfortunate that this is the situation of India generally right now. If you look across the board, whether it's the cities or whether it's the rural India, same story everywhere. So now that is what I fight, whether it's at a clinical way or while it's Ashoka, how can we address that? Again, coming back to my son, so he's sitting upright. Now this is a friend. He then was 75 when I took this picture, which is 6 years ago. And there was a midnight marathon happening that day when this like a week before, and when I took this picture. And Dinesh is his name, and Dinesh said, "Guys, I'm really upset because you'll be running, whereas I'll be doing a cruise with my wife, and I'm very upset about that." So on the day of the midnight marathon, he actually ran 2 half marathons on 2 back-to-back days at night on the whole on the ship. So he was doing laps and laps and laps again because he wanted to do what his friends were doing, his running buddies. So that's an Indian for you. He's not yellow, green, red, or any of those colors. Okay, so he's an Indian. And then here's Foja Singh. I don't know, probably some of you have heard of him. He's now 101, I think. This guy started running when he was 84 years old. So he was a regular farmer in India. His wife had just died, like almost all Punjabi Sikh families. Someone in the families in the UK or US or one of those countries. His family, whole of his family was actually settled in the UK. So he decided to move there because he had no one else left in the, obviously neighbors and friends were there, but, family wise, there was no one else left. So he went to London, or close to London, Leicester actually. And he realized that there was too much of a disconnect between him and his grandkids. So they would come once in a while to visit him, but when to live together, I mean that's a different ballgame completely. So when he was living there, he that there was disconnect, as I said, and no one really wanted him around. So he would actually get up every morning and just get out of the house and then come back for the dinner. So that was it. And he realized that the faster he walked, the more he covered. And when he went to the countryside, it was beautiful. So he gradually, that fast walk very soon converted into a jog, a slow jog kind of a thing. And he realized that he wasn't alone in this situation. There were other Indians who had a similar situation, who had come at a later age, like a 60, 65, 70, and you know the kids, their kids or their grandkids weren't really interested in them, and they were really literally thrown out of the house. And in the evening they would come to crash there again. And he started running, as I said, at 84. At 89 years of age, he ran his first full marathon. That's 42.195 kilometers. So 42 kilometers at the age of 89, and he did it in 66 hours 54 minutes. Then he did again he did many marathons, but he did a faster marathon at the age of 92 in the time of 5 hours 40 minutes. Okay, I think this was 2005 or 2006 when billboards all over London had this poster that you see right now, done by Adidas. So they didn't have David Beckham; they had his posters just before the London Marathon. So this is how big he had become by then. So pretty interesting how it actually went ahead, this whole thing. So point is, he's an Indian who's a regular farmer, and if he can do it at 90 plus, I guess any of you who's not yet 20 can do it as well. Okay, so the whole idea is, again, at the end of the day, it's not so much about how many kilometers you run, it's more about, do you have the smile on your face? So that's the whole intent, really. Okay, so I also, besides being the sports medicine doctor, as I said, I'm an ultra marathoner as well. So I organize this run in Leh. It's a 333-kilometer run. And something happened. Okay, yeah, so this is a video. Let's play that. You know what, I'll actually just skip this video. It's on Facebook anyway, so I'll share it there. Okay, I'll skip videos, yeah. Okay, and this is a picture from a group I had actually started called Couch to Six, where the whole idea was getting people to be moving and all that stuff. So it's interesting. The name of the group is Couch to Six because any of these ladies across the board, from various backgrounds and all that, weren't physically active earlier, and now they have actually started moving and stuff. And two of them have actually run 21 kilometers a few times also in 3 to 4 months. So that's pretty good. I mean, if they can do it, you guys can as well. And it was amazing listening to them. Again, something that I'll share on Facebook anyways, that it was beyond whatever the running does as a physical benefit. There's so much other learnings that happen in it. Again, this is at Formula One track. Formula One track again. Sonam, so she's just joined us as well. Now she'll be the one who'll be my eyes and ears at the campus. She'll be living on the campus. Now, what's very fascinating is, besides being a runner and a health and fitness freak, she's also a national level volleyball player. But she's just quit a law firm that she was doing very well at to be joining here. So she's amazingly passionate about it. Here again, she's at this Delhi half marathon last year. And again, what amazing motivator. So this is at Formula One track, helping Sonia carry on running. And then the whole idea for her would be, leading really from the front. So that's the whole idea of having Sonam there. Then it's Kishan. Kishan is trekker, runner, fitness enthusiast with special love for mountains. Similar to Sonam, a professional, otherwise was a chartered accountant by qualification, but otherwise very keen to get you guys more active. So he'll be there on the weekends. He has started something called Backpackers Club of Delhi 4 years ago that started. He's someone who would go out and look at the cultural connect for wherever he would take people out. So again, that's where the connection happens with physical activity and courses and syllabus actually. So it's not only physical benefits. Okay. So India off-roads. So that was the thing that I was talking about, where he started this club for backpackers. And again, if you notice his website, so this is from the top of his website. So he's already looking at the storytelling, the mixed bag, the rural getaways, development, architecture, nature. So these are the links again on his website. All right, this I'll really go very quickly. Libero Sports, we are trying to connect with them. They are guys in football. Really, they are the ones who've got football to a very good level here. Now, Winning Matters is more deeply involved with them. So they'll be advising us and consulting with us on all sports. It's led by a few Olympians who are looking at creating a wider base for fitter Indians, but again, also looking at getting India medals in 2020 Olympics. So amazing combination here. India Track Club, again, is the first professional running club that's been created in India, and again, trying to tie up with, it's already tied up, and trying to see how we can take it forwards with them. Team tennis, this is where what produced Yuki Bamri, the winner of the Junior Wimbledon a few years ago. And again, the coaches would be coming over from their academy, which is in City Fort, and yeah, helping you guys. Now, in 2 minutes, I'll just give you, the whole idea about what services will be provided there. I think I've said enough about fitness. We'll be assessing you guys the moment you come. Blood tests have been asked, or you will be told to get done before you land there. So unlike other universities, whatever fitness you come with, you'll be a fitter person when you're leaving. Now that's not what many universities do, even abroad. Forget about India. Okay, so that's the whole idea. Someone like me, either me or a colleague of mine would do a musculoskeletal assessment saying, why do you have a back pain, or you have a pain somewhere which you don't know yet about, and how do you fix it? The whole idea is because now teenagers and early 20s, they already are having those chronic back pains and all that. I mean, today's life is about sitting down, and if your back is already hurting when you're 17 or 20, we've got a problem on our hands. So trying to fix that. Running and walking will be the main thing that we'll be working with. Gym, strength training, again, very soon you'll have a very good facility. Stretching, again, is an important component anyways of keeping you fit. So we'll be looking at all of that. Now, outdoors, as I said about the Kishan's background, that's very important. So we'll be looking at trekking, hiking, climbing, and heritage runs and walks. On-campus facilities to really get you excited about when you're going up outside as well. Now, as I said about my run, it's a run that happens in Leh. It's one of the top 7 races in the world that is there. Now, you'll be having, unlike anyone else out there, you'll have this opportunity to, really be a part of this team. Next year onwards, very happy to, get you involved in whichever capacity you want to be. Diwali and the other vacations, we'll be taking you folks to treks and stuff like that. Again, we'll know beforehand what is planned. So again, you can plan your vacations accordingly. Sports, as I said, pretty much all of it. So I only have said details about running because it's going to be the same thing for all other sports, but we were looking for Ashoka runs. What this means is we'll be looking for running events on campus and off-site, participating in other running events on a monthly basis if you can, and then plan over time would be for all sports really again, would be to create universities running league. Now Ashoka University will spearhead a nationwide, or that's the plan at least, nationwide running movement in colleges. If you can do that, that'll be amazing. To me, it's sad when people who are trying to get into the police force in India, and it has happened in Delhi, it has happened in Haryana, and it's happened in Maharashtra and Rajasthan, that kids who were 18, 19, 20, when they were running to get into the academy, the police academy, they died while running 3, 4, 5 kilometers. I mean, that's how fit our police force is in India. Pretty sad. So whole idea is we need to start somewhere, and why not Ashoka then, and you guys taking it forwards. Now this applies to all other sports as well: tennis, swimming, football, squash, badminton, volleyball, basketball, or whatever other sports you want to. Again, it'll be driven by you guys. So very important that you guys take the lead. Now, how do we get all this happening? So fair, I'll push you guys physically, but if you're not eating right, this will not take you very far. So you need to have the right stuff in your system. So someone like me will be playing a very important part in getting you some very boring food, very healthy food. We'll try to make it as tasty as it can be. So that's very important if I have to make you fitter. Ergonomics, how you're sitting in your classrooms. It's not so much about how good or bad a chair is. If you don't know how to sit, it doesn't matter how expensive the chair is. So again, some very simple tips again and again, which I'll be giving you guys how to correct that. And the whole idea is if you follow this whole presentation, injury prevention will automatically be happening. So you'll be fitter and not getting hurt repeatedly. So that will again be very important to make you fitter and at doing everything else and optimizing everything. Okay, infrastructure, super quick. So outdoor facilities, by the time you get there, there will be a couple of tennis courts, volleyball courts, hockey and football fields. Cricket, it'll be a small field because focus is on doing sports where you really move rather than just standing and waiting for forever. Basketball court will definitely be there. Running, walking tracks all around the campus, as well as a shorter track will be there, 200 meters. Cycling track all around the campus again. Gym will be there by the time you land up, or will be in another month at least after you do land there. Indoor facilities by 1st of March, or maybe earlier than that, we'll have an Olympic-sized pool, 2 doubles squash courts, multi-purpose court for basketball and badminton, which will be multi-purpose other than just these sports. State-of-the-art gym. So by then we will have a very classy gym. And it's not about the hardware only, it's about the software. I mean, it doesn't matter what a machine looks like or how expensive it is. If you don't know how to use it, it's pretty lousy. So we'll make sure you know how to use any of the machines out there. Then obviously we'll have table tennis and billiards as well. Other activities like yoga would definitely be there. It'll also depend on the interest as well. So those are the facilities we have. All right, and so that's it from me, and let's just see what questions you have for me. Okay, again. Okay, so there's a question from Adrija Chaudhary. Are the facilities and infrastructures for sports like football and mountaineering developed in, where's that? Okay, Ashoka. So I think I just answered that. Is it possible for amateurs to join such sports? You know what, Adrija, that's the whole plan. I'm more interested initially in people who are not physically doing those sports or are at a very amateur level rather than just creating the world champs only. World champs will come out of you guys. So of course, amateurs can do it. How would Ashoka cater? Okay, so there's a question from Samrit. How would Ashoka cater to students like me who have never participated in any sport whatsoever? At 5 in the morning, I'll be running behind you with a stick. I'll make sure that you're running. Aditya Shetty, are there coaches and trainers for each sport? You also mentioned futsal. Is there infrastructure for that as well? So futsal can really be played anywhere, right? I mean, it can be played on an indoor basketball court. So it doesn't really take much. As for the coaches, it will depend on the student body. If you go to the Facebook page and you need to be checking out which sports there are. I'll actually write again on it. Want you guys to tell me which all sports you're interested in, because then based on that, we'll focus more on those sports. Okay. Okay, Samrit, again, so how do you see a typical day at Ashoka with respect to sports? 5 o'clock, Samrit gets a kick on his butt and he starts moving. So the whole idea is really, what we'll do is, on a serious note, we will have a plan for 5 or 6 in the morning where, you guys really experience, even in summers, you'll be surprised how pleasant it can be at 5 or 6 in the morning, and how we physically get you moving there. Intent is to make everyone who's never played any sport to be running 5 to 6 kilometers in 6 months' time, in a particular time as well. I mean, you'll know the time once you get there. So it starts with that. Then you're back into your classes because your classes start pretty soon. you will have a lot of free time. There's a lot of self-study that's actually going on. After that, what we're planning on doing is having different coaches for different sports coming along on different days. So there could be somebody who's interested in different sports, who wants to do all of them. You'll have a chance to do that. So because the point really about coaching or about teaching at this level is you don't have to be standing there 24/7. You give some inputs, some tips, and you have to practice on your own then, and you come back again and check on it. So that's the whole idea, Samrit. Okay, so Ujjwal, my question is basically on the university's football exposure. If you could just elaborate on that. So Ujjwal, what's happening with football is we have the best guys on board. We have access to the best, as I said. Now, it entirely depends on you. I mean, as I said, it's student-driven, all of the sports. You have to tell me where do you want to take it. So we could very well create teams. We could be winning things. We could be leading from the very front, having the boys and girls teams for football. We could, why not in the very first year, be Delhi champions and further beyond. So ideas, it's entirely dependent on you, how far you want to do it. We have access to from a very basic to as good as you want to get to. Libero Sports represents 54 or 58 professional footballers who will be representing the top professional footballers who will be representing various teams in this league, that I-League that is being started by Reliance. So they are at the very top of the game. They are the guys who got Arsenal into India. So you have access to the very best in football. So you have to tell me and you have to show the passion, and there's no end to how much you can achieve in it. Okay, Samridh again. So all the tie-ups you told us about, will the Ashoka students be visiting the facilities or will they be sending their coaches to Ashoka? Samridh, that's not one way only. We'll have a mix. So like for wall climbing, I didn't mention Delhi Rock, for example. Delhi Rock is in GK2. And it's the most beautiful, it's the best wall climbing facility I've actually seen. For that reason, we'll not initially have a wall for ourselves. Initially, we were thinking about having it, but then we decided against it because if we have guys who are better than us, why don't we tie up with them and see how we can use them? So we'll be going there for the wall climbing bit. For football, they'll be coming to us. For tennis, the plan would be, can the students on the weekend go and play at City Fort, for example? So it's going to be a mixed one. There's not going to be one single rule only. Okay, so it's going to be sport specific. Okay, so any more questions then? Yeah, so my email is rajat.chauhan@ashoka.edu.in. Probably that's on the website as well. So just email me, and I'm decently active on Facebook. As I said, some students had come today thinking that will be a different topic and they'll be dealing with it differently. I think best would be if you can do that separately as well. That'll be great. No, I'll not be there on campus full time. I wish I could be. So I'll be there a couple of days a week, 1 to 2 days a week. But trust me, it'll be a lot having me only for that much. Idea again would be trying to make sense to you why you have to do it. So I'm not only going to just make you do it, I'll be the one getting into those classes in the evening and even talking to you guys and making sense of everything about it. So yeah, I'll not be there every day. Can I just drink this one? What kind of plans do you have for our summer winter breaks? So it's entirely dependent on you, yeah, for your summer breaks and winter breaks. So what I mean is, we will be having treks which are planned during the breaks. Again, it depends on your interest. We can do some amazing stuff during your break. So you'll have to tell us, how many of you are interested, and we'll go for it. Sorry about this. Okay, so yeah, so established these organizations are really big, as you said. The first criteria is they need to be, for anyone who joins us, the very first thing I'm interested in is grassroots levels. the certificates and the medals, they'll happen anyways once we have a very good foundation. So no, I'm not targeting medals right away. So it's really for the regular people, just to get fitter, just to be moving a lot more. That's the whole intent. Okay. Yes, Amrit, you're saying something. Nothing. Okay. Okay, so Professor Hungle, I mean, the rest of the team will take care of that. I'm not the one involved in that. So the webinar will be done by them. All right, so any more questions? So I'll just fill you on one thing that I'm actually very, very keen on, and not many of you have yet got involved in it. Yeah, so we've started a YouTube channel which is only for the sports and the exercise and the medicine part of it. So it's besides the regular channel that is there for the university. The whole intent of doing that is it's to be run by the students, or we'll make sure that it's run by the students soon enough. So the whole idea is sharing a 1-minute video, just saying about what you are about and what does physical activity mean. If it means nothing so far, say that. It's great because you can connect with the rest of the students that are there. Again, the whole idea of this is beyond just creating a little profile video for yourself. We will have a production house, right? So the whole idea is one set of people could be the guys who are creating things. So one could be the camera guys. One set of people could be the script, who are making the script. Then could be the guys who are like anchors, who are in front of the camera. Then could be guys who are doing the research. So some medical research has happened. You kind of looked at it, and you're saying, let's make some sense out of it rather than making it very, technical. Like, is too much water good for you when you run? So, how does it apply to a 17-year-old student who's just come to a university? Now, you guys could actually put it all out there. And again, it could engage some 50 people on a regular basis. And we get to the next one. So basically, one, it is for the internally for the university, but we also engage students from elsewhere, like other students from other campuses and other universities. So it could be a very, very good one. Thanks, Ujjwal. So am I. Really looking forward to working with you guys. Okay, so it's pretty late. I think we should call it a day. It'll be great if you guys can write on Facebook. I'm very happy connecting with all of you. As I said, my email is rajat.chauhan@ashoka.edu.in. So please feel free to write to me directly. I might not reply right away, but just keep bugging me, and I'm very happy doing that. Being bothered and all that. But I'll get back to you for sure. Okay. So that's it. Thank you so much. Take care.